What is good people? You are now listening to another episode of Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth. I am your humble narrator, Danny Foxworth, and this evening we have an extremely special guest. She is Memphis to the blood, bones, and chromosomes, curator of most things Black Memphis, Southern, and current. And she talks shit with her friends on her podcast, which is entitled All In With ASE, or All In With ACE. We have the great Bridgette, aka BGRS, in the building. How are you this fine evening?
What's up, man? That was beautiful. I need to put that on my tombstone.
I'm just boosting my guest up, man. You know.
I'll take it. Give me like the Chance the Rapper, the meme. Yes, do it. Pump me up. I
love
it. Yes.
So the All In With Ace podcast, how did that come about?
Oh my God. So if you have been listening to us from the beginning, episode 1 is like totally different from like episode 31. But it started like during the pandemic. My friend Mia, she wanted to start a podcast, and we have a very big friend group. It's like 7 or 8 of us. They not really my friends. They're like really they like my sisters for real.
Okay.
And she was like, well, let's start a podcast. And I was like, okay, so you realize all the work that's going to go into a podcast, right? Because this is not my first rodeo. You know, I was on another podcast with 3 other people.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. That's how I became familiar with you.
I appreciate that. Elvis Presley Boulevard. But
yep.
If you still want to listen, I don't even know if it's still up on any podcast still, because we haven't recorded in years. But anyway, I digress. So my friend Mia was like, let's start a podcast. And then I was like, okay, cool. Knowing I was gonna be the one to like put everything up and like all this other shit. I'm like, all you guys gotta do is talk on the mic. Like I gotta upload and all this other shit. But I'm like, okay, cool, let's do it. You know, let's see how this gonna go. Like for a minute, y'all gonna get tired. So we were doing it, you know, pretty consistent for a little bit, and then we started to fall off. And then we kind of regrouped, and now we have our friend Sean. Well, we call him Barry Hill for short. But he's now on the podcast with us, and he started at the beginning of this year because he used to listen to our podcast.
Okay.
He's also part of the friend group. But he started to listen, and he would comment and, you know, like, y'all had me cracking up on this and this part. So me and myself was like, well, why don't we ask Barry Hill to do it? And Barry Hill was like, okay, cool, yeah. So it's the 3 of us. We kind of call ourselves the 3 amigos, but out of the friend group, we got really close in college. When me and Barry Hill were going to the university. Well, all 3 of us. I'm sorry. All 3 of us were going to the University of Memphis. But we all went to school together at UT Chattanooga.
The Mox.
Oh, you know, what's up?
Yeah, I know a little something.
Go ahead.
I said, because there's a local college down here is the Citadel. They're in the same conference with them.
Ah, yes.
SoCon. SoCon, yeah.
SoCon, yes. Dang, you know more than me. But we went to UT Chattanooga, and then we kind of migrated to the University of Memphis, and that's how the 3 of us, myself, Mia, and Barry Hill, got all close. So we kind of just get on the podcast and talk shit. We don't really have no segments. We just start talking about whatever we feel like talking about at that time. But it's kind of a way to just kind of keep up with each other. And y'all just hear it on the mic. So, you know, bear with us. I'm so glad that, you know, all 7 of you people who listen to us, y'all are so dope. Thank you so much. Danny is one of the 7. No, just
hey, that's true though. She ain't lying.
Yeah, so he's, you know, Danny's been following me. We've been following each other for a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I think the thing that made me start following you was when you did the monthly faves on Twitter.
Oh, I forgot I used to do that.
That was my favorite shit ever.
So man. For those who don't know, on Twitter, my name is BGRS. So every month I will go and I will save like my favorite tweets. And this is nothing that I started. Like other people used to do it, then people fell off, and then I just kind of picked it back up. I'm sorry, I can't remember y'all names. Just charge it to my head, not my heart. I'm not trying to take nobody's shine. But anyway, yeah, I used to just fave like funny ass tweets, and then at the end of the month, I would go back and retweet them, and then you might know me from that too. So people used to be like, man, this shit, they used to make people's month. And then I used to do it at the end of the year too.
Yeah. I always look for, as soon as I knew that, I looked at the calendar and I saw it was close to the end of the month. I'm like, oh shit, Bridgette's about to crank them monthly faves out. I'm here for it.
Yeah, man, just kind of keep the Twitter timeline light, but nah, I don't do that shit no more. It's too much time. So.
Yeah, you just answered my next question.
It's too time consuming. And then, I think after like Trump became president, I think I did like somewhere up in there, I just kind of started falling off, and Twitter it didn't get fun anymore, so I just stopped doing it.
I feel you on that.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the big reasons why I brought you here is because I was listening to the last episode that y'all put out, and you got into a talk about anxiety and the things that you were experiencing. And listening to it, I was like, man, this is almost similar to what I was going through, like specifically during the pandemic. So that was the reason why I reached out to you to talk about that. So just talk about what that experience is like for you.
Well, I'll start from the beginning. Just like you brought up, I realized that I had general anxiety. And I'm sure a whole lot of people probably had this shit during the pandemic. So I wasn't like going to get diagnosed or anything, but I was just going to get a yearly checkup. If you got your good insurance at your company, you got to go get your yearly checkup so you can get your premium down. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm speaking grown folks talk right about now. So I was just going in to get a general checkup, and my nurse practitioner, she was just asking me like generalized questions, and then she came in with this questionnaire for me to fill out. I think it's like 10 questions, and then you rate it from like 1 to 5, 1 being a little or not at all, and 5 being the extreme. So I was like, okay, I hadn't seen one of these before, but I'm like, let me be for real. Let me be truthful about what the hell is really going on. So I was circling, shit, damn near all 4s and 5s. And then the doctor came in and she was just like, you think you have general anxiety? I'm like, anxiety? What? So it was not on my radar. I'm thinking anxiety like nervousness, or it was not what I thought it was at all. And then she was like, I think I'm going to refer you to somebody to talk to. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And then the psychologist reached out to me, and I was like, okay, yeah. So I met with the psychologist, and then they have to give you a whole a rundown of your past experiences or whatever. And she was like, nah, I gave her, my past experiences, not to get y'all too far in my business. But she was like, yeah, that's pretty, typical for somebody with anxiety. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah. Then, after I started talking to her and just kind of unpacking certain stuff, because I've been seeing a therapist for like 2 years now. Okay. Maybe 3 years, because I 2020. So yeah, maybe it's 3 years now. But after unpacking a whole lot of stuff, I'm like, I haven't had anxiety my whole goddamn life. It wasn't just the pandemic. The pandemic made it worse.
Right.
So, and I had been coping in different ways. Now that I go back and I think about it. But now I know more healthier ways to cope with my anxiety. But yeah, so, and it also doesn't manifest as what you think it manifests as. Like, I'm not like a nervous person. Like, I don't want to talk to you as I'm talking to Danny right now. I'm talking my ass off. But but you know, it manifests with me like in anger or withdrawal or you know, things like that. So just learning more about it and just unpacking things in therapy, I'm like, damn, I done had this shit all this time. I've been had anxiety. I would
Yeah.
if I would have had the tools in my toolbox 20 years ago, my life would have been so much, I want to say, you know, better, but it would have been like different. But you know, things come to you in due time.
That's true. And the thing that I never really took into consideration was the different, there's so many different ways that anxiety can present itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like with me, I was just round the clock tired and just super fatigued, and I could not figure out for the life of me what it was. I spent so many trips to the doctor getting my blood work done, you know, trying to get to the root of what it was, you know, taking, you know, getting my iron levels checked, my vitamin D levels checked, my thyroid checked, and everything came back normal. And then I was talking to my mom about it. I was like, I just don't know what's going on with me. And also with that, like I would have constant headaches. I'd be just lightheaded, and it was a weird feeling. And it was got to the point where I had literally had my first panic attack, and that was a scary ass feeling. And like having to call my mom to come pick me up from the house and take me to the ER. It's like 2:30 in the morning because I'm thinking I'm having a heart attack, and I go to the doctor I go to my primary care physician the next day, and I'm just running down all these things I'm going through, and he's just stopped writing stuff down. He goes, "You ever thought about therapy? Because what you were describing to me is sounding like generalized anxiety." I'm like, I never thought of that. And then he referred me to a therapist, and I went and saw her, and she was asking, similar to what you were saying, she was asking me a bunch of different questions, just trying to get a read of what I was going through. And she diagnosed me with generalized anxiety disorder. I was like, wow, so this is really what's causing all this. And then once I started doing my research and just seeing the generalized physical symptoms of the anxiety, it was like, this makes so much sense. And I just, once I knew that my body was reacting in that particular way, it's like it just made my hypervigilance just like through the roof. Right. And I'm sitting here thinking not if it's going to happen again, but when it's going to happen again. I'm like, oh boy, here we go again. But she just, again, like you said, she provided me with some tools that really helped greatly alleviate my anxiety, as far as like breathing exercises and just like practicing mindfulness, you know, writing down things that I'm grateful for. You know, she suggested me doing adult coloring books, and that's been a tremendous help.
Me and you are here.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
right. Because I'm on the coloring book tip. I have several. I have several at work, and I also have several at home, but I find myself doing it more at work. But yeah, like, and now that I think back on it, even as a kid, like I had already set up things in my toolbox to handle it. Like I used to keep a journal all the time as a kid. And now I'm getting back into like journaling and like you said, and things I'm grateful for, or shit, things that I'm pissed off about. I sit there and I write that shit out too. And then I'm like, whew, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And you was like breathing exercises. Like I do that too. Like I'm a big yoga person. Like before I even realized that I had generalized anxiety, I used to do yoga all the time.
Okay.
And it used to make me feel so much better. Not only did it keep me in like terrific shape, but I used to do hot yoga, but yeah, they used to keep me calm down. So that was some of the positive ways I was handling my anxiety. Now there's a other way that are not so positive that they have manifested in ways that you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, like when you just brought up the fact that you realize that you're getting to that point, you're like, oh, okay, I realize what this is. Bridget, what's wrong? Like, are you upset right now? Are you mad? You're mad right now? Are you like what? Like, get to the root of the problem. And then once I realize what the root of the problem is, and I can kind of move on instead of kind of, dwindling on it. So
Yeah. And good on you. I got to give you props for being proactive about your situation.
yeah, man. Like um I said something when I turned 40. Like, I was like, I do not want to be the same person that I was in my 20s and my 30s. It was like something clicked for me. And I knew all the ways that I could physically be healthy or whatever, but I was like, I really got to get my mental right.
Mm-hmm.
And that was before I actually saw the nurse practitioner. Just, I was thinking that I needed to go to therapy, but she was like my final push, like, take your ass to therapy.
Yeah.
So and that has been like a tremendous help. I am like such a better person for going to therapy. So I always highly recommend it. And I just, yeah, man, I kind of said that to myself when I turned 40. Like, I got to make some changes. Like, I can't live the way I've been. Not to say I was like out here wilding, y'all, but just how you are in your 20s and 30s, you don't want to keep making the same mistakes. So
Right.
I was like, I got to get down to it. What's up?
And another key thing that you brought up that I also brought up on a previous episode was the great thing about having a doctor slash nurse slash primary care physician that legit gives a shit about you and your well-being.
Amen.
Because there's so many doctors that are just in it for the check and just write you a prescription and send you out the door, but not
Right.
really digging deep into like what's causing these problems and what's going on in your head.
Right. And yeah, shout out to her. That's why I'm gonna keep her I'm gonna keep her forever. Like,
Yes.
because she could have been just like, okay, whatever. Here goes some drugs, whatever. But she
Mm-hmm.
like, no, I'm going to refer you to a psychiatrist, a psychologist. Like, you need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
And I like appreciate her forever for that. So
Right on. So now we're going to get into the 5 question segment. So
uh-oh.
the 5 question segment, the first and last question are the same question I ask every guest I have on here. And questions 2 through 4 are 100% random. So
Okay.
question number 1, what were the ideal items on Bridget's school lunch tray?
Oh, I was waiting on this. So I know everybody wants to say the little square pizzas that we got back in the day. If you're like between the ages of 35 to 50, you know what I'm talking about. But my school, they used to do fried catfish on Friday. Yes.
Really?
Yes. They used to do fried catfish on Fridays. Shout out to Central High School. We had 3 lunches. Now, if your ass was on that third lunch, you ain't gonna get that fried catfish because that shit gonna be gone. So, but if you was on first or second lunch, you might look up. So they used to have fried catfish with French fries, and then we had the little grape juice. I don't know. It was better frozen though. Like, I
Yeah.
can't think of what it is. You know what I'm talking
It
about, right?
always, it's all, the fruit juice is always better frozen.
It's always better frozen. So yes, they were on my school lunch tray. And I also want the maize popcorn. Yeah, we're gonna get full at lunch. Just think of all the good shit. I want the maize popcorn. And then I also want the little the ice cream cones they used to have. Dang, I forgot. Nutty Buddies.
Yes. Yes.
That's what's on my school lunch tray.
And you know, with the catfish thing, especially with you being from Memphis, it wasn't until fairly recently that I realized that catfish, like fish and spaghetti, were an item. Because because I heard
Spaghetti
G
is a side.
yeah, because I heard G Dep mention it in that song
In
Let's
his
Get It.
man, and it blew my mind. I was like, how the hell you know about that? He in New York.
Yeah, like he
Man,
from Harlem talking about fish and spaghetti. That was the only time I heard about it. And then my sister's boyfriend, he's from Tennessee, and he was talking to me about fish and spaghetti. I didn't realize that because I'm in South Carolina, I'd never seen fish and spaghetti. I love fish and I love spaghetti. I just never seen them together as a dish. And I didn't realize that it was like real big, like in the deep south / mid south. I was like, wow, I learned something.
hell yeah.
I definitely try it.
Spaghetti is a side here. We don't just, but see, I have my husband, he all snobbish and shit. He he's from Virginia.
Okay.
But like he was like, I had never like heard it put together like that. But yeah, spaghetti is a side here. You don't get full off spaghetti. Like you gotta have some fried chicken or some fried fish.
Word.
Yes, it's country, but your ass will be full and it's good too.
I'm here for it. Question
Mhm.
number 2. Do you remember where you were when the OJ verdict went down?
Oh, yes, I was in school. What was this, 1995?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. I was in the 10th grade. Shout out to Central High School. I think I was coming out of chemistry class, and everybody was like, OJ is free or some shit. And I was like, oh wow, that was wild. But you know what? I'm sorry. Like, I remember my mama used to take us to school and we used to listen to WDIA.
Mm-hmm.
That is a local radio station here. Shout out to all the Memphians. If y'all know, it's an AM radio station. And Bobby OJ, rest in peace. He just passed away, like I think late last year. But they used to do a segment on the OJ trial every morning.
Really?
Every morning. And
Wow.
just imagine I'm 15. My brother's 11 years old in the back. We getting all this information through the goddamn OJ Simpson trial on WDA. Like, I probably shouldn't have been listening to that. But he used to talk about this shit early in the morning, 7:30. That's wild. That was a wild ass time.
And that's so crazy that your experience is damn near identical to mine, because when I heard the OJ verdict, I was in 10th grade and I was in biology class when this went on.
Oh shit.
Did y'all have Channel 1 in your school?
Yes, we did.
Okay, that's where we found out, because it was the last period of the day. We were already done with our daily assignment, so we had like 40 remaining minutes in the class to just do whatever we wanted to do. So my desk was right behind the teacher's desk, Miss Hazelton, and me and my homie Steven, we were just pencil fighting. She didn't care. And then the TV came on and said, this is a Channel 1 special.
Shit, it came up on Channel 1?
Yeah, it was like, is a Channel 1 special report. It said, we now go live to Los Angeles for where the jury has reached a verdict in the OJ Simpson trial. I was like, oh shit, here we go. And just to set this up, the hallway, the hall that I was in, last class of the day, they all of the classes leave their doors open for the last period of the day. It was like, we the jury find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty, and boy, it was a party. And I'll never forget my teacher, Miss Hazelton. Soon as he said not guilty, she goes, fuck. And she just threw her head, and she just slammed her head on the desk. She was not happy with the result of that verdict.
Okay.
I mean, people were running.
Was Miss Hazelton a white woman?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Black folks was running out in the hallway partying. They was like, look, we didn't like how the Rodney King verdict looked, how that ended up, so we got our comeuppance.
Hell yeah, that was a volatile time. I didn't realize, like, I don't know if you're a big documentary head, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Like they did was it 30 for 30 or the OJ Simpson trial? Like they broke all of this shit down, like from when Rodney King got beat to what's the young lady that got shot by the Korean grocer? I forgot her name.
Yeah, I can't remember her name either. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, they broke all of this shit down. What was the scene like, all of that. But yeah, that was a crazy ass time.
And I still have yet to watch that. I'm because I got ESPN Plus, so that's priority viewing right there.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to sit down and watch it like during the afternoon. Like it's
Yeah.
long as hell, but it's worth it though. It's good.
All right. Question number 3. What are your 3 favorite versus matchups?
Oh no, you didn't.
Let's talk about it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Like the Babyface and Teddy Riley one is like absolute classic. It and to be honest, it set up the stage. Teddy Riley was really ahead of his time. Like we really made fun of him during that time. We were just like, nigga, just get on the IG and play the goddamn songs, man. We don't want a whole fucking band.
Right. A band and a dancer.
Bro.
Not
But
necessary.
now, unnecessary at the time. But now Verzuz is like a big ass production now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and Teddy Riley was ahead of his time, even though we gave him shit at the time. But yeah, that was a good one. Jada Kiss and I can't even say the locks and what's I can't even say the name. Thank you. I can't even, it don't even matter. You see, I said Jada Kiss first. And I forgot Jada Kiss did one with Fabulous too, but
yeah, I always say drunk Jada beat Fab and sober Jada beat Dipset.
Okay. Yes. But I'm talking about the locks and Dipset. That was a good one. And Jill Scott and Erykah Badu was a great one too.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. And
yeah.
I just recently rewatched that one. That I enjoyed that one a great deal.
That was a good one. I can't think of no. Just for shits and giggles, the Ray J the Ray J, Pleasure P, all of them to get Mario. That was a fuck. They ain't did versus 6.
Yeah, that was a shit show.
in the worst best way ever. But yeah,
I remember watching the Bow Wow Lil Romeo versus, or I mean the Bow Wow Soldier Boy versus. And in my mind, all I'm thinking is, I wish little Romeo should crash the party like Fan Man at the Holyfield Riddick Bowe fight. That'd have been the best shit ever.
That would have been the best shit ever. Oh, and I forgot 666 and Bone. That was a pretty good one. 666 just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, nobody really remembers that because 666 just came out like 10 in a row. I'm just like, Bone, this is not even a competition. I'm sorry for all the Cleveland Bone folks. But
yeah, RP Gangsta Boo, man. When Busy Bone threw that water bottle, she's like, Busy Bone, you a hater.
It's like, oh no, why did she have to go straight
Memphis? Oh man, that was a train wreck.
Oh my God, she went straight to Whitehaven. God damn, Gangsta Boo. I love her though.
Me too.
Fan. I ran into her at the airport like 25 years ago when I used to work at the airport.
Oh really? How'd that go?
I didn't even know who she was. Like she was running late. Now this was pre 9/11. I'm really aging myself. But anyway, this was pre 9/11. So she, I used to be the one that used to run down the people. I don't know what you call those people, but whatever. She was running, trying to catch a flight. And then she was like, can I go? Can I go? And I was like, oh shit, Gangsta Boo. Hell yeah, you can go. She was like, oh girl, thank you. She took off. She was real cool.
Oh, at question number 4. What was the first concert you attended without adult supervision?
Oh, without adult supervision. Concert. Damn. I didn't really get into concerts till I was like damn near 20 something years old. I remember my first concert was with New Edition and Force MDs. I had to be about 6.
Wow. Force and D's.
Yes.
Man.
I know. I'm aging myself.
Tender love.
Hey, let's talk about it. That's the jam right
Man,
there.
listen. Tender love, tears.
You got the key. Yeah. House is not whatever. Not
Yep.
house is not home. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know. Can it be a comedy show?
Sure.
Okay, yeah. I went to see Ricky Smiley like in 2001 in Chattanooga. Yep.
Ricky Smiley, was he doing the little Daryl?
Yes. Oh, this shit is so offensive now. There's no way in hell he could do it. But yes, he was definitely, this was all around when Kings of Comedy was the shit, and he kind of felt slighted that he didn't get invited, but whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was doing Lil Daryl, and he was also doing the what was the old lady he used to do?
Bernice.
Yes,
They used to do the funeral. They used to call it funeral homes.
Yeah, there ain't nobody
told. Whose funeral jug got to do?
That was my favorite shit. Man, I love Ricky Smiley back in the day. But yeah, I think I didn't really go to concerts a lot. I'm going to concerts now, but not back then.
All right, question. I added a bonus one. So this is question 4B. What's your favorite Memphis slang term?
Oh, man. I was just about to say it then.
There you go.
Man. It's a man or junt.
Yeah.
Junt is in JUNT. It can be a person, place, or thing. An adjective, an adverb. Yeah. Junt or main.
I'm partial to flogging.
Oh yeah, flogging ass nigga.
Yeah, I like flogging. That word is so raw to me.
A flogging ass nigga. Like,
and question number 5. What was the last thing that made you laugh uncontrollably?
Ooh, let me think. Oh, okay. So, I was talking to my son, and we got to the term wife beater.
Oh, I'm
okay. So he was trying to tell me that he needed more white tank tops, and he was like, "Mom, I think you called them wife beaters." And then he was like, "Now wait a minute. My son is 12, so he's like of the Gen Z generation." So he was like, "Mama, where did this term come from?" He was so serious and so offended. He was just like, "This is a terrible word. Why do y'all say wife beater?" And I had to explain to him that on a show called Cops, cops used to make stops at domestic violence issues at these people's houses. And the man that normally used to, be his wife, used to have on white tank tops. And we coined the term a wife beater. And that's where we got it from. And he was like, "That is a terrible word." But I was like, "You're absolutely right." But yeah, that I was cracking up a good 2 or 3 minutes off of it.
Oh, that's funny. So is there anything that you want to plug or promote? The floor is officially yours.
Yeah. So you can listen to me on All In with Ace, the podcast. We're on everything but Apple. Don't ask me why. I don't know how to load this shit up on Apple. I just don't know how to do it. But you can also follow me on Twitter is BGRS. and my name is the same on Instagram. So that's where I'm at.
Dope. Make sure you like, download, and subscribe to their podcast. All in with ASE. ASE.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, incredible podcast.
Oh, I
Soon, every
appreciate
time I
that.
see a new episode in my Spotify queue, I'm like, let's go.
Yes, I'm so excited because we
Yes.
don't be talking about shit, but then it be.
I'll be invested though. I tell
I
you what,
appreciate
especially with Ja Morant doing what he's doing, this made for some
Oh.
interesting some interesting episodes.
Man, why you gotta bring up old shit?
I apologize.
God damn.
I mean, look,
Danny.
he's from South Cac. I'm
Oh,
disappointed
that's
too.
right.
But I want him to do good, but can't get right.
He cannot get right, but I still believe in him. I still I think this is gonna be his wake-up call. I also said on the podcast, I know you were trying to wrap this shit up, but I'm gonna say this real quick.
Go
I
ahead.
had said, oh, okay, thank you. I had said this on our podcast that when he first did that apology, I did not believe him. I did not believe him because we just got through talking about generalized anxiety, right? So then me and Danny understand that you cannot unpack all of this shit that you are going through at this current time. You got $200 million. You know what I'm saying? You are carrying all these people. There's no way you could have fixed that shit in a week. You got to unpack all of that.
Yeah.
And hopefully he will unpack all of that. I hope he don't get suspended for the whole season, but it's gonna be a big part of the season next year. But I hope he uses that time wisely and get himself together because I still believe in you, Ja. Y'all still understand you are 23 years old, so this is a lot.
Right.
So yeah. But yeah.
Man,
I'll say this again.
Okay, yeah.
On the podcast.
Man, this was such a fun episode to do. Thank you so much for being on, Bridgette. And
no problem. I was waiting on you to ask me to do it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to bring you back too.
Please do.
Absolutely.
I was so glad. I was like, I can't talk about baseball because I don't watch baseball, but I can do this. This I can talk about.
Yeah, that's why I got this podcast right here. I got all my got all my stuff covered. So if you made it this far in this podcast, thank you. I greatly appreciate your ears. Make sure you like, download, and subscribe to Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth. And for Bridgette and myself, till next time, y'all be good.
Peace out.
Peace.